Brad, you obviously helped Jason off the court there. It sounds like you were with him afterward with the surgery and everything. What was that kind of time period like, helping him get through such a difficult moment, and how has he kind of gone through it, the mental aspect of it right now, and how do you expect it to kind of progress physically over these next few months?
Obviously that's hard, super hard for Jason. I mean, more than anybody. As has been well documented, he loves to play. And I think even missing 2 games has been, grueling for him. And so we know that there's a long road ahead, and that there's going to be several steps that he'll have to take before he ultimately gets back out on the court. But the positive was we were 15 minutes away from, Dr. O'Malley, who is a terrific surgeon who has done a number of these. And Dr. Shenna was on the phone with him before we left the building on Monday night. And he was out of the MRI in consultation and done with surgery by the time we had an injury report the next day, because of there was real benefit to doing it early. I thought it was about as good of a transition and about a bleak, of a feeling as you could have.
Do you know a treatment at this point for Jalen to plan there? And what is the outlook now going forward for him and Jason health-wise?
What was reported this weekend, that's been something that's he's had for a while, and it's been stable, and he's played with it. And so that's been several scans through and through. So we've known that for a long time, and he's known that for a long time. And but it just tells you these guys they care. They care about winning, they care about playing well. And again, I think that'll probably, he'll drive that. But certainly, we're thankful for how much and how hard he's played.
And obviously it's going to be a longer span of time without Jason here. How do you anticipate sustaining through that, and how big of a part is Jalen in kind of having some stability next year as Jason's going to be out?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been the core parts of this whole program for a while. And so there's no question about that. And, those guys are, they've achieved so much, and, and certainly deserve all the recognition and praise and accolades they get. But yeah, that's a huge part of us being the best version of ourselves.
Brad, you guys have made the playoffs every year since 15 and been 7 or 8 Eastern Conference Finals. With your ego, in terms of you want to build a championship contender every year, but is there something that says with the new CBA, with all the restrictions, with Jason's injury, maybe we have to take a step back?
Again, I think the way that you say it is the North Star is to have a championship contender, right? And so you have to you have to do what's best to give yourself the best opportunity to do that when you can do that. And so we just have to look at it all and decide, how feasible that is on any given year, and then, make sure that we are, we're making the decisions accordingly. But the reality is like I said, we have a lot of good players. We're in a unique situation. They're all under contract. And obviously, as you pointed out, there are, several basketball penalties that will come with that amount of salary. And so we just have to weigh it all and make those decisions. And again, I'll have more clarity after we meet and talk and go through it.
But is that possible to continue every year under the restrictions to have a championship contender, or do you have to?
I never put a ceiling on a group of players. So, some years you put a group together that you think has a better chance than others, but we'll see how it all looks. But my goal is always and will always be to try to best position us to compete for championships.
Brad, you got 28 and 32 with the draft.
We do.
There's
right now.
Yeah, right now. There's rumors that you talked to 2 guys, one who's projected to go number 1, you've interviewed, and the other one's another lottery pick. Do you expect around the league fireworks to kind of happen on draft night. You said get back to you on draft night. Do you expect the draft will
No.
be able to determine some things?
So the way that this does, we can rank who we want to talk to, and the people we know we can't get in to work out is how we decide who we want to talk to at the combine. Otherwise, we may never get to talk to them again. So the only people that'll come in and work out for us are people that think they're between, in our range, or maybe they're at the bottom end of our range, or whatever the case may be. So that doesn't really have anything to do with any of that. Will there be fireworks on draft night? I can't imagine, but again, who knows?
There's
I wouldn't guess with us, no.